Blog Talk Radio.
Caution, the tea is hot. Blow it off first, okay? Dishing tea with Big Meech.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish the tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech.
Can't wait. Time to dish tea with Big Meech. Time to dish tea with Big Meech. Time to dish tea with Big Meech. Time to dish tea with Big Meech.
Darling.
Today to this courthouse. But one while I got a little smile on my face because I was thinking about when we when we first met, the first time I ever saw you. And you was walking past me and I said, hey girl, you forgot something. Come here and let me comb your hair. And you looked at me and we started laughing, and then we went sit down and had lunch, and next thing I knew we was getting married and we was raising kids and buying a house and just having a good old time. And then somehow I started drinking. I started hanging out with my friends, staying out all night, girl, gambling, not paying the bills. Oh, baby. And you told me, you said, Lenny, you better straighten up because you're going to lose your good thing. And somehow, I don't know what it was. Maybe I just wasn't listening, girl, but I kept on doing wrong. Oh, baby. One day I came home and you was gone. Girl, I looked in the kitchen and all the pots and pans were gone. I looked in the closet and all your clothes were gone. And then I went to the kids' room and the computers and their books were gone, girl. And I sat down on the couch and put my head in my hands and I cried, baby. Oh, baby. I cried, baby. Oh, baby. And then I came to myself and I started going to church. I called the pastor. I started going to counsel. I started reading books about how to get myself together. And let me tell you, girl, don't leave me, baby. Girl, I know we can find our love. Oh, don't leave me, darling. Oh, I've been looking for our love. Let me ask you one question. Where did our love go?
Well, hello. Out there in Blog Talk Radio Land, honey, here in the glorious United States of America. And to those who are abroad, hello to my friends in Germany and Italy and France and the Caribbean island, and to all of those who are within the sound of my voice. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers. And I know you know what time it is, so I know you have all of your crumpets together, my darling, because it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing the tea, darlings, with the big meats. Child, now y'all know I can't stand when we have computer glitches. So for those of you who are on the air at the very beginning, that little blackout, because I'm sitting up here with this damn computer, I don't know what is going on with the damn mouse. This thing want to double click. I'm used to single clicking. It's trying to double click, then it ain't clicking and carrying on. I tell you, if it ain't one thing, it's another. So something is going down, and we've got to go and see what's going on. So we're getting all that together. So technical difficulties and testicular mishappenings and all of those kinds of things is what's going on in my era. But as I always say, honey, one monkey don't stop no show, honey. Oingo boingo. Oh, dear Lord, honey. If you're just tuning in, if you're listening by computer and or by phone and wish to call in and want to have something to say later in the show with our guests, please feel free to call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Press the number 1 that lets me know you have something to say, and that will light you up on my call queue over here, and I will get right to you at the appropriate time. Okay? However, my darlings, today, this is going to be some fun, honey. So I'm sitting up here trying to get myself together because it's a long day. Once we finish with the show here, I have to go bumping over to the television studio because for those of you who don't know, if you're in the Atlanta area, my show that I host, Atlanta's Up and Rise, we're back in production. So you can check us out on your local public access channel. I think that's channel 23 here, People TV. or go to peopletv.com. And also, if you're a Clark Atlanta student, you can catch us on Clark Atlanta's channel as well. And I believe that's channel 24 here. So, yeah, Atlanta's up and rising. Now, for those of you who missed the last season or whatever, you can catch me out on my YouTube page. So just look me up, Big Meech 1, BIGMEACH, the number 1, and then that'll you can go there and find out all of the stuff that's been going on with Atlanta's Up and Rising. If you'd like to be on the show and you're local, would like to come on, I will have information there. Just email me, Big Meech, BIGMEACH, at dishingtea.com, and I will give you all that information of who you need to talk to, because that show there, I just hosted, honey. I don't produce that one or whatever, so I had to get you over to the producers and how they schedule and this, that, and the other. His name is Coda Andrews, and he's doing wonderful things. We're doing a big show. We're doing bigger things now with this particular season. I have a co-host now, Miss Layla Cree. So Layla Cree will be there with me as well this particular season. So, darlings, we're doing some exciting things over there with Atlanta's Up and Rising. And the title says just what we're about, honey. So if you have a new product, or if you're a singer, if you're a new business or something, and you want to be spotlighted, highlighted, showcased, interviewed, want to come on, and you will have performance time for those of you who are performers, we will invite you to do that. Now, to come down there on that particular show, honey, it's not like the radio show, baby. You have to come down there with clean materials, honey, so you can't do, all of that craziness and carrying on that we like to do and like to cut up with, because over there it is FCC regulated, ha, ha, ha. Okay, so we'll get dinged, we'll get fined and all those particular things. Over here, no, we're not FCC regulated here, so I have a little bit more freedom here. And speaking of, let me do my disclaimer right now. That Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature and or responsible enough to handle the situations at hand. So your listening discretion is advised. I will repeat. Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature and or responsible enough to handle the situation at hand. So your listening discretion is advised. My darlings, now is the time, okay, for you to excuse yourself. If you're at work, put your headphones on and or turn your volume down to a respectful level. If you have children in front of you, honey, set them over there in the other TV with the other flat screen and let them watch Dora or SpongeBob or Bert and Ernie or Mr. Snuffleupagus and Big Bird or somebody, honey, because now is the time for the grown and sexy to become the seasoned and sophisticated, okay? Honey, listen to me very carefully. I am 45 years young. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the heavens, to the gods, and all that are responsible for that. Okay? Everything that is good and comes to me from that particular source, from where life stems, I give credit to all of that. So having said that, my darling, I am here. So every 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17, 22, 54, 76, 192 syllable and or letter word that comes out of my mouth, I've earned it. Yes, I'm very old-fashioned, honey. I've earned it, okay? So I don't know what kind of bag I'm coming out of, honey. Just know that I'm coming out of one. And none of you bitches will come to me at the Walgreens, the Walmart, the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General. Honey, I don't care if I'm on MARTA or if I am at Macy's. Wherever I am, none of you will come to me and say, Big Meech, I got demerits or I got rolled up or I got this or I got that because of something that you said. And I'm going to say, lies, garbage, and propaganda. That's bullshit. You will learn how to govern yourselves accordingly, honey. So please consider yourselves warned. Okay. Yes, indeed, I'm serious. Okay, the tea room is open, so if you're listening by computer and want to come over there and see what's happening over there in the tea room, honey, I gladly invite you to do that. Please know that in order to interact with us over there, you have to create yourself a profile page. Just with any other social media pages, create a profile page and then come on in, and you will be able to chat with us and interact and all of that. If you don't, if you come up in there, you will see guests and you will see a number. That means that you're able to read and see and correspond or at least read what's going on, but you won't be able to be interactive with us, okay? So, again, over here, if you're coming in to dish your tea over in here responsibly, please, honey. It's ironic that we're now in an era and in an age where we're just technologically sound and everything is about reading. We're down to 160 characters and things and blah, blah, blah. But oftentimes, because you cannot hear my vocal affectations or the way how I talk or my speech pattern, oftentimes you may think somebody's trying to neck roll your finger snap you, come for you, let you have it or whatever, and that may not necessarily be the case. So while you're over here, please dish your tea responsibly, because if I come in and find that you are cutting up, I am going to cut you out. Yes, I will. Trust me, I will. Honey, don't try me, though. Please don't, because I would hate to make a moniker, an example out of you and all of those kinds of things, okay? All right, love, honey, love you, mean the kisses, smooches. Okay? So now listen to me very carefully. A special announcement. For those of you who are business owners and want to come on, we have a new segment of the program. We call it Pitching Tea. So you're going to come down, honey, and I'm going to give you a little 15-minute spot before we get into everything, honey, to advertise you. And I'm more so giving a complete shout-out to a lot of our African-American or Americans of African descent. I'm trying to get that into my vernacular. If you are a person of color and you have a business that you would like to have highlighted or put into the spotlight over here on Dishing Tea, please go to the website at dishingtea.com, and you'll find all of the information on how you can be pitching tea with us about who you are so that the folks can know about your business and what it is that you do. Now, let me put this proviso on here. Those of you who, I'm not knocking you if you got a little Avon, if you're selling Tupperware, if you got Melaleuca, if you got whatever little home-based business that you have, okay, that's cute. However, I don't want you to come on here, trying to sit up there, and because you get on the radio, you're going to act like how we do when we see ourselves on TV. Ooh, so-and-so on TV. We're not going to do all that. What I want you to do, if that is your base, if that's your business, and you're at a point where that's become your sole business, that's where your bread and butter comes from, that there is how you're doing it. You're not doing anything else. This is not some little side thing or whatever. Went down to the church and passed a little Avon books and trying to get no, I need you to be established to say that this is a business, okay? Because a lot of us get into these kinds of things and they become hobbies and all of that, because what we're doing is highlighting the business owner. For those of you who want to make the economy productive, and then for those of you who want to make sure that you're buying and keeping the black dollar together. If you're buying black and want to stay and support black-owned businesses and then carry it on, that's what this is. That's what this idea is about. Everybody else, I appreciate you. I love you. But I want you to get to that point where you're saying this is how I got to support my family and everything, so that this doesn't become a joke. You know what I'm saying? So if you're pitching tea, come and be right. And that's going to be that. So go to the website, dishingtea.com, for more information on how you can be right here pitching your tea with us. Okay. Also, for those of you do know, we're approaching June, and we are a few months away from the grand opening of No Time for the Pain here in Atlanta. Please, once again, go to www.dishingtea.com and find out how you can become one of our partners and sponsors with this particular endeavor. We got to get this money in the kitty children. So you can help us out from everything from just a simple donation. If you got 50 cents that you done put into the little piggy bank, whatever, you say, I could give that to them. That's lovely. If you want to come on board and get some Dishing Tea merchandise, you're more than welcome to that. We have T-shirts and coffee mugs and 11 by 17 art prints of our logo. We also have that on a 6 by 8 ceramic tile for your decorative art and your artistic style for your home. Again, dishingtea.com is where you can find all of that information out. Also, we have sponsors. I'm talking so fast. I'm stuttering. Stop that, girl. Let me breathe and start that over. We also have sponsorship packages available so that you can partake of any kind of package that we have to advertise your business with us, whether you want to come in and go with our program booklet, if you just want to say hello and send us well wishes, and a myriad of ways that you can become a sponsor and a partner with us. So, again, go to www.dishingtea.com for more information. We will love you. We appreciate you, darling, and you are helping us to make this vision flourish, okay? So, If you don't go to the website, you can also contact Peter Jackson. He is the artistic director of Five More Artists Detroit and also Pharaoh's Treasure Box, and he's the executive producer of No Time for the Pain. You can call him at 248-688-5178. That's 248-688-5178. Okay, No Time for the Pain. Our family ties are shattered and destroyed when fraternal twins Danielle and Eric confront one another on the issues of betrayal, infidelity, and HIV. My question is, what would you do if you found out that your fiancé of 7 years was having an illicit sordid affair with your twin brother for 5 of those 7 years? Your twin brother finds out he's HIV positive. You find out that you're pregnant and HIV positive. Drama, honey. Just complete drama. Okay? So, yes. All right, my darlings. That there is what we have right here coming up. So, let me take a little commercial break right now. I got to go get my tea. I'm still sipping on. We're doing throat coat and ginger tea again today. For those of you, y'all know I have to tell you what kind of tea that I'm sipping on. I have throat coat. Actually, it's throat comfort. I got the Yogi brand. It's throat comfort along with the green ginger tea that I've created, okay? Yeah, I just took some green tea and some ginger tea, mixed it together, and I added some throat comfort. And those little mixes together, honey, is doing fabulously for me. So let me get my libation glass together, and when we come back, my darlings, honey, my baby is back with us. Today, I named today's show, Woe is Me, and I am he. Bumping that with Mr. Wyatt O'Brian Evans, honey. Yes! So when we come back, honey, he's going to be joining me, so that's going to be the next voice that you hear. So, babies, let me take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to bump that shit, right? Ha!
Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in urban culture and lifestyle. Spearheaded by the Henry Hingers of hip-hop, Mr. Angelo Ellerby, Double Exposure serves to educate its clients about the dollars and cents of the music industry. For more information about Double Exposure Media Relations, call 201-224-6510. 201-224-6510. Double Exposure Media Relations.
If you are looking for irresistible, breathtaking art, you've come to the right place. At Sherwood Forest Art, we carry a large selection of paintings, masks, figurines, and sculptures of both modern, abstract, and representational styles. To see all of our art treasures, visit our showroom today at 19500 Livernois Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. For more information, call 313-340-0411. Sherwood Forest Art, where art talks to us in a language of its own.
Choosing art and custom framing is a personal experience, and at Eric's I've Been Framed, our consultants work closely with you to bring your vision to life, leaving you with more than a picture. We create showpieces and heirlooms for your family to enjoy for generations. Come and experience our creativity for yourself. Eric's I've Been Framed is located at 16527 Livernois Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. For more information, call 313-861-9263.
bad this would hurt. Seems when you got what you wanted, you took it for granted. I gave you love, I put you first. Gave you my heart, but you didn't know its worth. I thought we were strong, guess I was wrong. Now I'm here standing alone, and since you said we're through, I'll play the fool. Broke all the rules while loving you. Tell me this ain't true, 'cause I'm blaming you for acting like our shit was perfect. Now I know it's perfectly worthless. As much as I want to deny, I hate I felt till love had to end. It was all a lie. But I swear never in a million, never would have taken you for a coward. A pillow full of tears, left in disgrace. All my time and years, you can't replace. And I thought we were strong, guess I was wrong. Now I'm here standing alone. We're through, and I'll play the fool. Broke all the rules while loving you. Tell me this ain't true, 'cause I'm blaming you for acting like our shit was perfect. Now I know it's perfectly worthless. And now the only thing to do, pick up these pieces, nothing left to prove. 'Cause I know I'm a treasure, I'm royal, I'm precious. I'll just let some you be the one. This touch if wasn't for you. Since that's what you said, I'll play the fool. Tell me this ain't true, 'cause I'm blaming you for acting like our shit was perfect. And now I know it's perfectly worthless.
And we are back. That's Selena Johnson, honey, from Chapter 6, Couples Therapy, honey. Perfectly worthless. And I felt that was kind of appropriate, honey, with some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. As I said, honey, if you're just tuning in and just catching us, honey, I thank you for your love, your support, and your time for coming on in. And if you want to come in on this conversation, please feel free to call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Press the number 1. Just press it one time. You're here to say, honey, you're now in the host queue. That means that I have you here. Your hand is up on my board, and I will bring you in at the appropriate time, okay? But, honey, let's get into this because he's back. Yes, baby. My lovely old bump that shit partner in crime, honey. He is the author of Rage. Nothing Can Tear Us Apart. He is also the star of his own radio show. Over there with my friends at Papi Chulo Radio, the one and only Mr. Wyatt O'Brian Evans will be here dishing tea on the nuances of intimate partner violence and abuse, depression and the black gay man, and he will be giving us the exclusive on what we can expect from Season 2 of the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show. But first, before he tell us what the tea is, he's going to explain why he changed the name from the W.O.E.Show
to the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show. Plus, we're going to get down and dirty with him the way that we know how. So I hope you have all of your crumpets together, honey, because this is going to be a deliciously hot and fun pot of tea for your nerve, baby. So without any further ado, let's welcome back the one, the only. This is the Woester himself, Mr. Wyatt O'Brian Evans. Hey, baby, what's going on?
Can I talk now?
Yes, you may.
Listen, I have a 3-minute statement, and I don't want to be interrupted.
Well, hot damn.
And I was able to write all of this shit listening to you. Okay, first of all, you sound like a combination of Uncle Arthur from Bewitched and Vincent Price. I love that. Right. Please don't get down with you. Secondly, how many, let me see, I wrote it down here. How many disclaimers and announcements and provisos and promos and warnings and life stories am I going to hear, Big Meech?
Darling,
and you know what I
have
did?
to prepare the children.
Not finished yet. I'm not finished. You know what I did? I'm at home working today, so what I did was I stripped down naked. I am totally buck naked. The only fucking thing that I have around my neck is my new skull chain on, and I popped in this video of black naked bodybuilders. I was able to do all of that shit listening to your 15-minute promotion, but I love it. And thank you for having me back on Dishing Tea with Big Meech, Demetrius Dennis Taylor.
Yes,
how the hell are you, darling?
Hey, I am everything, and everything is me. You know how we do this thing, honey. We got to prepare the children, honey, so when they get into the experience, it becomes an uninterrupted experience, honey. So you had to do all the provisos. You got to get all the sponsors out the way and carry those so that folks will know what's happening. Because, like I say, I have had folks who come to me and they're like, oh, my God, I didn't know you was going to do all that. Well, sweetie, honey, that's why I said I don't know what bag I'm coming out of, honey. Just know that I'm coming out of one, honey. See there. Please.
Well, you know
honey.
what? One of my fans just texted me. He says, are you naked? Damn right I'm naked because, it's, I had the time to do it listening to you.
Hot damn, because you was prepared. See, you got naked because you was prepared for me, baby. You know what the hell this is. Now, come on, bump that shit, baby.
Bump that shit.
Bump that shit, nigga. Come on. Okay.
Yeah, baby, bump it.
Okay, now listen, before we start all this on innuendo and flirting and carrying on, because see, we ain't seen each other face to face yet, and see, the folks don't understand why this thing becomes so hot like that between us. So I'll give that. We get into that a little bit later. However, let's go into finding out more about you, honey. You're coming back with the new season of the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show, honey. So now, first of all, why did you change the name from the W.O.E.Show to the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show? What was so cute? But give us that and what we're going to expect with the new season.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Taylor, Big Meech. Well, I thought it was kind of cute, too, but I hired this New York publicist a little while ago, and he's really, really good. And he says, listen, woe sounds cute, but it can have a bit of a pejorative, like woe is me. So he says, for even better branding, it should be the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show. I've got a beautiful name that my mother named me, so why not use it? And the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show is on the Papi Chulo Radio.com family. That's PAPICHULO Radio.com. And my new summer series kicks off this Sunday, May 31st, Big Meech, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And I'm going to have you on in August. You so graciously accepted my invitation.
Thank you, baby.
And the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show, what I like about it, I do exactly what I want to do. What I do is I interview diverse, dynamic individuals impacting the LGBT community and its allies. As well, I dissect and probe issues impacting us. From 1 week, I can have a porn star on, I could have an author, an activist, a journalist, a politician, an entertainer. I like to mix it up. And I have a part-time, sometimes co-host, Miss Kuntish Cumshot, Drag Queen Supreme. So she gives it a little bit of humor. So it's a hell of a nice package rolled all up into one.
Well, how about that, my darling? You know, when I was last on, we had a good little time, honey, and I'm looking forward to returning and carrying on and having fun with your audience and things because they get to understand what this thing is about, honey. Now, let me go here with you because as, you know, doing this thing in radio and things, give the audience exactly your definition of freedom because a lot of folks may not understand. Right. They think that, you know, coming into this, you know, it's a big old party, but they may not understand the work behind it. So when you say freedom, explain that to the people.
That's a fantastic question. Freedom in that when you're on the Internet, you don't have the shackles that you would on, you know, regular radio because my show is uncut, uncensored. When you're on the Internet, you have more of a license to just really be earthy and be yourself. So that's the difference there. What I do for my show is, and I know you do the same thing because we both talk about this, I do exhaustive research on the individual that I'm going to interview or the subject that I'm going to dissect. I mean, for example, on Sunday, the 31st, PapiChuloRadio.com, 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, I'm going to have Mr. Draven Torres, that hot Latino porn star on there. So I did all of my research. I looked at all of his movies, so that was really, really good research. I really had a good time doing that. You know what? He was in some different positions and shit. Now, for example, later on in the season, I'm going to do something about prison rape. And it took me a long time to do that because it was hard for me to find an individual that wanted to come forward. So I did a lot of research about that. So this season is going to be exceptional. It's going to be even better because my guests are more diverse. I'm really digging into even tougher, more controversial topics like prison rape, the criminalization of HIV youth, transgender people. I've got a lot of authors on there, entertainers, comedians, singers, all that stuff. So it's a nice broad cut of shit that's going on that impacts our community.
Okay, well, dig that. Now let me go here because when we talk about our community, one of the things that plagues us is the fact that the community itself and the culture. I'm gonna just go with the culture of our community. The culture is very young, and so those of us who are of a certain age, if you're over 35, more than likely, you know, we tend to be categorized in a certain box, you know, and the culture does not give credence to us anymore. I tell these young kids, honey, this is your time to sit down there and add your notch to the bedpost, but you adding yours does not erase mine, you know. Right. So in that, what is it that you found to be very difficult to do with bringing a message to our community, and how difficult is it to bridge the voice of the young and the seasoned together in order to be cohesive?
Boy, you ask some really good probing questions, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass either.
Yes, you are.
Well, maybe when I get to Atlanta this fall, I might be inclined to do that. But anyway, so make sure if I decide to do that, make sure you've got some like pineapple sauce or like some chocolate rubbed all across it. All right. But getting back to the subject,
go ahead, baby.
Getting back to the real subject at hand, you know, unfortunately, particularly, and you might agree with me or not, but particularly with gay men or single gender-loving men, whatever you want to call it, of all races, it's the youth factor. You know, we don't realize that we're going to get old. We're so obsessed with youth. And for my website, WyattEvans.com, which is the go-to destination for LGBTQ features and news and commentary, I've written a lot of stuff about intergenerational dating. You know, older men dating younger men and the pitfalls and all of that. In my interviews, I found that younger men, I don't know if this is a trend or not, but younger men are going for the older guy because the older guy is more established, he's had more life experience, yada, 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 yada. But still, unfortunately, as gay or SGO men, we're so obsessed with youth, not understanding that 20 is going to soon become 30, and before you know it, it's going to become 40, and then you're 50, and then you know I'm in my mid-50s. Although I look good.
Hot damn! Yes, you do, baby.
I look good, but you know, you know, I've talked to men your age and my age, and you know, some of us are at home Saturday nights without dates, either because we want that whole youth factor, or we can't seem to find someone our age or younger who's attracted to us, which is really, really sad. You know
what? Let me put a caveat there, because I think that's part of the problem. We're so busy looking for someone to be a part of us to where we forgot how to live. A lot of us are at home because we forgot what it was just to fucking do it. You know, because a lot of, you know, we come from that era. Most of our friends, if they're not dead, honey, they want to be, you know, or they've moved out of state or whatever. So, you know, and they've gone on into their own lives. And that there is cute and lovely and all of that. But their whole idea of feeling as though we have to be, you know, involved with someone, or we have to be on the date, or we have not outgrown the fact that we're on the prowl. See, I think a lot of that has to do with that. So when we sit up there talking about dealing with the young folk or whatever, that there becomes, you know, it becomes a twofold kind of thing. You know, me personally, I don't understand the music. Okay, the music. It's not danceable music. I mean, you can rock, you can move to it, yeah, but you can't dance. Or at least, let me say, my generation of folk, we can't dance to this shit because we don't know what it is. Now, these kids, this is their time. They know what it is. They know how to boogie to it. They know how to jet set. They know how to whatever to it, because this is what they do. So it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just that our voice is not heard. And so then we get the occasional, you know, the oldies but goodies night or whatever. You know, we get the occasional house night or whatever. For those of us who love house music, we get that occasionally. And that's usually like once a month. So, okay, it becomes like a family reunion to us when we go out and have these little excursions, and we don't know how to gel with the young folk. And then for those of us who do, when we do get out there, half the time you feel like, shit, I'm a daddy. You know, these kids, I'm old enough to be their fathers, and then they want to hang with us, which is not a problem. But then you end up having to realize, oh, shit, wait a minute. You know, it becomes that it's a whole big thing to do with that.
Well, let me say a number of things, and you're definitely on the right track. Let me say a number of things. I think that I've undergone therapy in my life, and that's the best thing that you can do. It really is. When you find a good therapist and you go through that cycle successfully, you understand yourself better, and you can look at somebody and understand them even better. You can say, oh, he's passive-aggressive, or he's this, or he's that, and I need to stay away from him. Too many of us gay SGO men, big niche, feel the need to have somebody. You've got to be able to live by yourself if that's what you have to do. You have to be able to function by yourself without someone else if that's what you have. I mean, you know, you want to find a compatible person, and that's all well and good, but what happens if you don't? You've got to be able to function on your own, and when you're able to do that, you are self-assured, you're self-actualized, you understand yourself, and if you do meet someone and you're compatible with that person and you want it to go to a relationship, you can bring something positive into the relationship. You know, we should, you know, too many of us are looking for daddies, meaning we want somebody to tell us what to do, we want somebody to spend money on us, we want this, instead of taking care of our fucking selves, because once you do that, when you do find that appropriate person that you can vibe with, you're bringing something to the fucking table. That's what you're doing. Too many of us are not doing that. And I've written, as a journalist, I've written a lot about this for like Huffington Post. I'm getting ready to do this really big article for Ouch magazine, online and in print, about how to successfully date, and then when you get into your relationship, how to keep it together, and then if you find like the fire and the hotness is, dissipating, how to put it back in. And the whole of it is, too, and I'm going to get off this in a second, you got to have effective communication. If you ain't got that, you ain't got shit. Because you know what? I'm saying this. I say this to people. Like Judge Judy says, I'm not Karnak. I can't read your fucking mind.
Okay.
If you tell me what you want, you have more than a 50% chance probably of getting it. But if you don't tell me what you want, you ain't going to get it because I can't read your mind. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, but let me go here because I'm going to throw something at you because I know recently you've been doing a lot about depression, particularly with black same gender loving men and carrying on, and how depression hits us, and oftentimes. This right here, this whole dating piece goes hand in hand with depression because a lot of us feel as though, something must be wrong with me because I'm not this, that, and the other. Okay, for those of us who are getting older, you start to have body issues. I know I have major body issues because I've been going through all these damn surgeries and carrying on. As we get older, the body is, we don't have the 25-year-old body anymore. For those of us who you're dealing with this and dealing with that, one of the big things that I'm on is erectile dysfunction because a lot of people don't want to talk about that, particularly in our culture, because everything is about conquering the dick. Either we're going to fuck or you're going to suck it, honey. And if that's the case, if it ain't working properly, a lot of us don't want to talk about that and this, that, and that. A lot of it, then we get into all these roles of top and bottom. You used to be a top or whatever, but because your dick don't have work right now, you become a bottom by default. You don't want to admit that, and then it becomes a whole cycle. So I want to go here with you and dealing with a lot of that depression factor. What have you found in your research and you've been outlining in your articles when we're coming to same gender loving men, particularly those of us of color? And dealing with depression and how that has affected the community as a whole, and if there's a difference between depression in a young person versus depression of those of us of a certain age.
Well, let me start here. I just finished doing a 3-part series on black LGBTQ depression for the Huffington Post, and you can actually find all 3 parts at WyattEvans.com. And I was really amazed, Big Meech, and how much feedback I got, people that were depressed, wanting to commit suicide and all of that stuff. Okay, first of all, let's start here. Let's just start with black people as a whole, be you straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, whatever. Unfortunately, in the black community, we have this history, this tradition of stigmatizing depression. And when we stigmatize something, we don't deal with it openly and honestly. So, we say to ourselves, we're strong, we've done, our ancestors were able to beat slavery or function in slavery. We should be able to handle depression or, go to your ministry. No. A minister is great, but he does not have a degree in psychology or psychiatry. So when you are depressed, you need to go and seek help. And as far as I'm concerned, let's say, let me give you an analogy. Let's say you break your arm. You're not going to treat it yourself. You're going to the doctor. He's going to x-ray it. He'll probably put it in a cast. He'll probably give you meds for that. So that's the same with depression. There's nothing to be ashamed about. A lot of it is a chemical imbalance. And then trauma and life and all of that can cause it. And then if you are gay, it's even worse because even though homosexuality is more accepted today, there's still a stigma attached to it. And again, there's even more stigma attached to being black and gay than being white and gay. And even now, if you're out and you're black and you're gay, you could lose your job. You don't have the problem economically, job-wise, that white people do. So you got all of this stuff that might stop you from being your authentic, your openly gay self. And then you look at the media. You look at the gangster, although we know so many of the gangster rap people are, and I know someone, who are gay or bisexual. We look at that and think that this ultra-masculine shit means that we cannot be gay. So when you wrap all of that shit together, if you're black and you're LGBTQ, you're very, very prone to depression. I mean, I've experienced depression various times in my life, and what I did was, thank God, what I did, Big Meech, was I sat in the therapist chair for 2 years. I found this wonderful Jewish woman who helped me a great deal. And like I said, when you go through that process and you heal, you understand yourself so much better. You understand what motivates yourself, what your triggers are, and you can look at somebody and say, oh, he's passive aggressive. I ain't dealing with that fool, or he's this, or he's that, or he's this. So I tell anybody, period, but particularly if you're black and LGBTQ, get help. You know, you might have to be put on meds for let me tell you a really quick story about meds. For example, meds are really, really wonderful, but when I had my first bout of depression when I was in college, I found I had this before the Jewish woman who was really wonderful. She was like I was going through my second battle of depression when I was seeing her, but with the first one was right after college, right during college, and I was put on Zoloft for like 3 months. Let me tell you something about Zoloft. You can't come. You can't ejaculate.
Right, okay. Come on now.
Ejaculating. And you know what? I had to get off of that. They put me on another one. Let me tell you something. I couldn't ejaculate for a month. And when I finally did, you know what I said?
What?
When it came out, because that shit blocked it for a whole month. So you have to be careful with the meds. You have to be careful with the meds that you're on. So, hey, cool. You know what's that? That's just a fun story.
Well, no, but see, that's very real because, see, with my bouts of depression, and they wanted to sit there and put me on it, you know, a lot of the meds have sexual side effects.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when I came to you and my depression is about sex, you can't give me nothing that's going to give me a fucking sexual side effect because now it's going to feed into the damn depression.
Right, exactly. But there are meds that will, there are meds, though. I want everybody to understand that there are meds that don't cause sexual side effects. So you just have to switch off one and go to another if necessary.
Exactly.
But try to stay away from Zoloft because Zoloft will back up your shit until you get off of it. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
Okay. Just word to the wise. Okay. Will Future was the one that they had put me on, and that was the one that had seemed to have the least sexual side effects and this, that, and that. I'm like, okay, that's cute, but okay.
Yeah, baby. You gotta come, you know?
Okay. Now, let's go here because, see, I still want to deal with this depression piece, but I want to take it into this particular area because when we're dealing with the person of a certain age, and I'm staying here with us because we end up, this whole thing about preaching to the choir kind of thing becomes such a staple, but I don't think that we're so busy preaching to the choir that we're not necessarily helping them sing the song. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes, because we're not helping them to sing the song, the choir never goes out to sing. You know, they just sit there. They become the amen corner, but they never sing. And so now how do we motivate those of us in our age bracket who may not recognize the signs of depression, you know, to get up and to start to experience life again? Because, we have, like I said this before, you realizing that, okay, we've never been over 40 before. We've heard all these stories from our parents, our grandparents, and those around. Oh, child, I got an ache here. Oh, this is creaking here. So now that we're starting to have the aches and the creaks, and I got to go to the eye doctor because shit, my vision is not like it used to be or whatever, or shit, now we got to wear glasses, or now we got to take this particular medication because this ain't right, or I got this, or I got that, and, then you, like I said before, all of my friends, those who I grew up with, those who I was hanging with, they're dropping like flies. So now the question of mortality comes into play because, bitch, I'm 45, and this bitch just kirked over, she was 39. So wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. I'm 45. Right. This one is 47 and sitting up here in the hospital on tubes or whatever. Wait a minute. Okay. So when we start to look at our own mortality and then looking at just life itself, how do we take this message or get the choir to now start to sing a little bit and stop being the amen corner?
Okay, well, here again, let me premise what I'm going to say a lot here. So let me premise with this, and I've done a lot of research on depression, and I'm getting ready to do some workshops and seminars later this year. Okay, first of all, black folk, be you straight, gay, whatever, you got to realize that you have to stop stigmatizing depression. Usually when something is wrong with you physically or mentally, emotionally, you know it, but you just, put it aside. Now, going back to depression, if, for example, you're over-drinking, if you're over-sexing, having too much sex, if you're using too much, if you're drugging too much, if you're doing stuff in the extreme, you're trying to run away from yourself, you're depressed. You don't want to deal with what's really bothering you, which is probably a severe lack of self-esteem. When you keep doing the same thing and it's giving you the same bad result, for example, like in dating, you seem to be attracted to the wrong kind of man. That is depression. You're looking for something to get away from yourself. You are perpetually trying to run away from yourself. And I believe that every person deep down knows when there's something wrong with him, particularly emotionally and psychologically. And that's when you have to say, I'm not worrying about the stigma. I'm going to treat it like it's a broken arm. I'm not going to my minister because he can't help me like that. I'm going to a therapist. I'm going to my doctor, my primary MD, tell him what's going on. He is going to say, you need to see a psychologist or psychiatrist. He will route to one. If the one that you have you don't like, you keep going and going until you find the one you want. For example, if you want a particular car, people will go from one damn dealership to another to get the perfect car. So treat your mind like your car. You want the perfect car, you want the perfect mind, and that's what you have to do because they're just triggers. If you're over-sexing and you're over-drugging and you're over-smoking and you're over-drinking and you keep doing stuff that's not giving you peace and happiness, if you feel like there's a hole in your heart, a hole in your soul, you're sad most of the time, you say to yourself, oh, my God, I got to get up. Life is not worthwhile. I don't get any joy from my family, from my friends. I'm isolating myself. Every day is a struggle. It's like you go through the day and it's like you're walking through all of this thick mud. And your feet are tired or you've got all of these weights strapped to your back. If you feel like you're in slow motion, you are depressed. And it's going to continue and get worse. And then you're going to start thinking about suicide. First, you're going to say, you know what? It might be good just to sleep all day. And then, it's going to be, and you do sleep all day. And then, it might be good to sleep the whole weekend. And that's what you do. And then what you're doing in your head is you're saying to yourself, that doesn't sound too bad. Maybe I should end it here. You are chronically depressed. This is not you had one bad day. And like I said, when we're gay people, LGBT, particularly black, we have to deal with racism, period, right?
Right,
then
right,
we have
right.
to deal with the whole homophobia. We have to deal with the church. We have to deal with, the supposedly macho sport. And there's so many sport people, please, that are gay. Come on.
Right, right.
Come on. Ball players are gay. I know some, but I can't tell it, because I don't want to be sued. Actors, these macho actors that are gay, come on. Give me a break.
Right.
And we
right.
buy into all this bullshit. We buy into that.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
go here. Because when we're dealing with the church aspect, because many of us who feel as though running to the pastor because that's what I know to do, or, we all come from that, okay, put your problems and take it to the altar, honey. Take it to the altar, give it to Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when we run in to do that, and yet we're struggling with that because we're not necessarily getting the answers, or we feel as though God is not answering our prayers, and yet with the stigma of not wanting to go seek out professional help. How do we then, get those who are in that particular mindset, to where you need to do something because you sitting up here waiting on Jesus to do everything, but you ain't did the work in order to make the miracle happen. How do we how do we push those folks to go into it? It's kind of like the same thing with men who don't like to go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
I don't know why that is such a man thing, and I don't care about your orientation. That's just a man thing. We don't like going to the doctor until we damn near dead.
Exactly.
But we don't want to do the preventative shit. So why is it that, how do we get that? Because oftentimes, particularly dealing with the LGBT community, the church is part of the problem. Of the depression.
My God, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let me say this. First of all, is not as easy as we would like it to be. And let me just say to all of your listeners, I am dedicated to God and Jesus Christ. I truly believe in God and Jesus Christ because I wouldn't be here without God and Jesus Christ. Whenever, even when I get little blessings, I drop on my knees and pray. So I don't want anyone to think that I have something against God and Jesus Christ, because without them I wouldn't be here. But let me just say this. God and Jesus Christ gives humans the wisdom to be doctors and lawyers and experts. The minister is cool. Some ministers actually do have a degree in psychology, but most of them do not. When you are depressed, if you are having marital problems, you need to go for depression. You go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. When you're having marital problems, a man and his wife or two guys or whatever, you go to relationship counselors. They are experts in that. Done their work. They've done their research. They've got their degrees. And God and Jesus Christ has enabled them to have the wherewithal to do that. So that's what you do. And we all know that so much of organized religion, where gay or SGL or whatever you want to call it is concerned, is so hypocritical. I mean, I can tell you, I'm in D.C., Big Meech. I can tell you how many ministers that are on the pulpit, saying stuff against homosexuality, but they are eyeing the new boys that walk through there. And another thing too, let me get this out too. But they have no problem with all of the gay choirs singing, and they have no problem taking money from their gay parishioners, and they have no problem with their wives and their girlfriends, and they're having secret affairs with boys and men.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can talk about this for 5 hours, but I'm not.
Well, you know what? I'm on that bandwagon because a lot of that it superimposes itself into everything that we talk about becomes issues within the culture, because a lot of us come from that particular kind of background. For those of us who don't, it's very rare when I run into folks, particularly black folks, who don't have the church experience. But there are those of us who don't. But they've been around people enough to know, okay, something is wrong with that. I have a friend of mine who, he believes in God in his own way and carrying on, but he's not necessarily churchified. So to hear all that and, to see folks go through these particular changes, it takes him into a whole different spin. It's like, okay, at one point it feels as though, he can have a little jealousy about it because he don't know it. But like, damn, well, did I miss out on something? But then when you look at it at the overall thing of it, I'm glad I ain't fucking with that. Because it done drove you half crazy. It's kind of like looking at relationships. Those of us who are single, but like, oh, woe is me, I ain't got no damn relation, I ain't got no man, or I wish I had a man. And, that was my story for a long time because I always felt like the fifth wheel because every time I turned around, everybody was in one. You just ended one today, child. 2 days later, you got a new little boo. I used to get on my nerves because I was like, okay, what the hell you doing, bitch, that I ain't shit. We going to the same places. And this, that, and the other. But then when you look at their relationship and when you look at how they're bumping and grinding and this, that, and the other, they're bumping each other's head and knocking each other upside the head or whatever, and you seem as though you done lost your sense of freedom because you in this relationship because you say you got a man. Then you say, I dodged that. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. And it's kind of the same thing with dealing with that church experience or dealing with depression or dealing with anything like that because for those who don't understand what's going on, it becomes one of those. It becomes that particular kind of mirror. So when we're looking at that, how is it that we can then move away from it? When we start to look at the healing out of depression, for those who've gone to therapy or whatever, and now they're trying to get back into life, what is it that we need to do to fortify them so that they don't keep going back into the depression? Or we can sit up there and say, okay, you know what, I dodged that. Well, they could be on the outside looking in and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I dodged that this time.
Well, this is the thing. You have to make counseling work for you. It's not easy. It's hard dredging up stuff you don't want to talk about, but the only way you're going to heal, Big Meech, is to talk about what's bothering you. You know what I mean? Are you with me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay. I said, what the fuck is going on?
No. I'm sitting up here doing something here, and I had my hand on a button, and I didn't realize it. Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm saying is this: you have to make the therapist, that whole experience work for you. You cannot be afraid. You have got to let it out. You've got to talk about what's really bothering you so you can figure out why it's bothering you so you can heal. And when you just lay yourself bare and then you understand yourself, you can walk away from the counseling experience whole. Sometimes you have to go back more than one time, but at least you're on the road. And if you can do that, you won't repeat these defeating behaviors. And let me just say this. The reason why guys of all ages are in and out of relationships is simply in dating experiences is simply because it's all about the sex first. Admittedly, men are visual, but we're so busy into the sex we have, and it's happened to me. We have sex too early. We don't openly, effectively, and honestly communicate with one another. We have sex too early, and then there's nothing to talk about, and then we move on to the next guy. So I don't care if you're 20, get to know the person first. Have some dates, and don't do all this shit. Don't do all this texting shit. Have a phone conversation. I'm so sick of people doing all this texting. Texting is fine, but have a fucking phone conversations that are substantive, because it's amazing when you have phone conversations, you can figure out people's nuances and all of that, but you can't figure out a nuance on a fucking computer screen. Talk to the person. I mean, I've seen people where all they do is text, and then they have these dates, and then, of course, they don't like the person because they haven't taken the time to talk to them on the telephone.
To get to know them. Exactly.
All the shit. Exactly. Texting is great. It's wonderful. But have phone conversations, my brother.
Okay. Or face-to-face meetings, child. Face-to-face.
But first have phone conversations before you have that face-to-face. You know what I'm saying?
Dig
if you want a booty call, fine. But if you're really looking for something to be the potential of a relationship, if you really want coupling, what you do is you have phone conversations first, and then you have meetings. You don't go to bed with people immediately. That's what you do. But if you just want to fuck, be honest and just fuck. That's cool. But if you want a relationship, cut back on the texting, have some substantive, fun phone conversations, and then meet and see what happens.
Okay, dig that.
There you go.
Dig that.
Yeah.
Dig that. Now, let me go here because, see, there's a flip side to this coin. And that is, how is it that we celebrate the single person? Because in our culture, we tend to want to alienate, and we tend to want to label a single person a hoe if they happen to be sexually active. You know, a single person who is just living a single person's life, you know, not necessarily committed to anything, but you know that's not what they want. You know, they like friends with benefits or whatever. You know, they like the casual date. If it's a hookup, okay, fine. If it's the one night stand, okay, fine. But I'm single and I'm comfortable with that. How do we recognize that and allow that to be something that we can celebrate and not always point a finger at because our society looks at something being wrong because you sexing too much or because you doing or what we think is too much or this, that, and the other. How do we do all that?
Okay, Big B. First of all, everybody needs to be more concerned about themselves than everybody else because, you know, if you're working on yourself, you don't have a whole lot of time to be worrying about Johnny and Brad and Peter. You're concerned about yourself and getting ahead and being healthy and being healthy emotionally and mentally and emotionally, mentally, physically. You've got a great job, whatever. You have family and friends. So you need to, first of all, focus on you and stop focusing on other people. Now, you know what? A relationship isn't for everyone. You know what I mean? And if you're single and you realize that, I think that's wonderful. However, this is where the effective communication comes in.
There we go.
If you're single and you intend to be that way, and you're on a date with someone, or you've had a couple of dates, and you know that person is looking for a relation, for the potential of this being a relationship, you should tell that person, look, I just want to screw. I just want friends with benefits. I just want a sex buddy, because it's so unfair that the single person would not tell this person who wants a relationship that. It's not fair. You know what I mean? It's really not fair.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if the other person wants a relationship, you have to put your cards on the table and say, look, I'm not ready for a relationship. I don't know if I'm going to ever be ready for a relationship. How do you want to deal with it? And give the person the option of saying, okay, we'll just fuck, or okay, you're a great guy, but I want a relationship, so we can just be friends, or we just don't have any more contact with one another. But if you're single, be honest.
Okay.
Be honest.
All right. Now, let me have this face over into the darker side of this. And that there is when depression becomes volatile. And we're dealing with IPVA, intimate partner violence and abuse. Okay. And we end up taking that out on our prospective partners or those who we claim that we love, you know, because not necessarily just I love this new branding of calling intimate partner violence and abuse versus just saying domestic partner, spousal abuse or whatever, because it opens up the spectrum, because a lot of people not necessarily just abuse those who they claim that they're having sex with or whatever, but then becomes mental abuse and carrying on with those who are in their inner circle. You know, you end up holding your inner circle hostage to bullshit and carrying on, and then think that because we're there that we're supposed to just take it because you are who you are.
Okay, let's take intimate partner violence and abuse, or IPVA. IPVA is the acronym. I've written about this a lot as a journalist. I conduct seminars and workshops across the country. The difference there's really no difference between IPVA and domestic violence and abuse. Basically, domestic violence and abuse is a term for a man and a woman. IPVA, intimate partner violence and abuse, better fits the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. There are three components. It's the psychological, the mental, and the physical. Sometimes the victim only endures one or two, or sometimes it's all three. Mm-hmm. And, it's not about love. IPVA, intimate partner violence and abuse, is all about control. And each year, check this out, each year at least 100,000 lesbians and more than 500,000 gay or SGL men are battered. And about 1 in 4 LGBTQ relationships or partnerships are abusive in some way. And it's all about the abuser having his thumb on the victim. It's all about control. And a lot of times what happens is, as the abuser's growing up, his father has beaten his mother, his father has subjected his mom to emotional and psychological abuse. As an adult, he uses it as tradition, and he brings it over into, say, the male-male relationship. And what he does is he tries to pattern his relationship with another man after the man-woman relationship. And gay relationships are different. You can't do that. But, see, we are conditioned to do that. That's the problem. Yeah.
Dig it. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go here, because you've written a book, and I love the book, child. Okay.
Nothing can tear us apart.
When we talked about it before, I was applauding the fact that the book is written in first person, okay, and it's given the account, as if I felt as though I knew this guy, I'm, sitting down having tea and crumpets with him or whatever, as he's just telling his story. Exactly. But in going there with dealing with IPVA, why is it that we feel as though, or why not that we feel as though, but why is it that our community do not like to report it? See, one of the things that I understand, I hear this from our heteroattractional counterparts, is that because it's two men, it's different with two lesbians, with two women, because to see them fight is a sexual turn-on for men, and a lot of men would debate that or whatever. However, the height of all of that is still a sexualized ideal, okay? Right. Except when you have one who is, they call him the AG, the aggressive girl or whatever, versus saying the stud. Okay. When you got the stud beating up on the lipstick, as if she's a dude or whatever, a lot of our counterparts are not into it that way, because they feel as though, you thinking you're a dude, but they still sexualize it in such a way. But when it's two guys, the whole idea of that seems to go to the hypermasculinity thing of, hell, this boys will be boys. Hell, you need to learn how to man up and quit all that sissy shit. You're supposed to be able to whoop his ass. You're supposed to be able to knock the shit out of him, because that's what men do. And we seem to get caught up in that particular trap. And then a lot of times in relationships, because we're so busy worried about top and bottom, who's top and who's bottom, oftentimes the bottom, who is ultra feminine or comes across as ultra feminine outside of we're in the bedroom, but yet we claim we want it's a duality there, because we claim we want all these masculine men. I want a masculine. I don't want to be bothered with feminine men, but yet at the same time, we have the feminine, ultra feminine man who ends up taking on the role as a female and get beat down or whatever. And because you're supposed to be a dude, you're supposed to learn how to fight. Why is that such a critical thing with us?
Okay, let me do a number of things, and let me get all of this shit out before you say something else. And you bring up some really good points. First of all, the reason why intimate partner violence and abuse is so underreported in the LGBT community, particularly in the gay SGL community, is because, let's face it, no man wants it known that he is being beaten up by another man. So it's heavily stigmatized. Now, number two, we get too caught up in what top and bottom means because you have too many men. Let me finish. You have too many men, period, who are tops, who are anally tops, believing that the bottom is the woman. No. We're both men. It's just that you sling dick, the other guy takes dick. So as far as top and let me finish. As far as top and bottom are concerned, we should say that top means being the penetrator, bottom you're being inserted, but we're both men. Now, about my novel, Nothing Can Tear Us Apart, Rage, basically I'm going to give you a quick snapshot about it. And you can get it on WyattEvans.com. You've got Wesley, who's this black, wealthy entrepreneur. His partner and chief of security is Antonio, who is this deliciously muscular Latino bodyguard. They fall in love. They take their time to fall in love. They learn about each other. They fall in love on these deep levels. Unfortunately, what happens is the honeymoon ends. You've got ethnic, racial tensions. You've got top-bottom issues because originally Antonio tells Wesley that he's versatile, but then Wesley finds out he only wants to be a top. They work that out. And then they just have this, just settling down in a relationship. And then there is this duplicitous drug lord who has it in for Wes. What he does was he knows that Antonio has all of these insecurities. So unfortunately, he manipulates Antonio into believing that Wes is cheating. Antonio batters him, IPVA. Wes kicks him out of the mansion. So what happens is you wonder whether these two guys are going to get back together or not. There are other things like mental illness, depression, IPVA. The last three chapters will blow your fucking mind because, as you know, there are major twists at the end, and I'm writing the sequel that will drop in early 2016. That sequel is called Frenzy! I had to get that out. Frenzy! Nothing can tear us apart. Frenzy! Early 2016. WyattEvans.com. Shameless plug. WyattEvans.com.
That ain't shameless, damn it.
WyattEvans.com. The go-to-it online destination for LGBTQ news, features, and commentary. WyattEvans.com.
Oh, okay. Right.
Bump it, baby.
Okay, bump it, baby. Bump it.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, now you know what? Let's go here. Let's go here. Because what we've just shared, honey, in this has been you as, the professional or the journalist who have done the research on all of this and carrying on. How is it that you take this information and put it into your personal life? Because I'm sure, someone who has answers and someone who is easy, you could easily rationalize this in front of people. How is it that you deal with all this information when you are, alone, when you're dealing with one-on-one situations, when you got to hook up, when you got to this, when you got to that, and you're not in the I'm about to disseminate information kind of phase, where you just every day and then you got to swallow your own medicine. How do you deal with all of this information?
Damn, that's a good question. Okay, let me start here. First of all, I'm happy being single. But by my nature, I like to be part of a relationship. But the relationship doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be right for me. This is my belief, Big Meech. When you're in a relationship, there's some things that you have to have that are non-negotiable, like food, air, and water.
Right.
They're just some things that are so fundamental that you cannot scrimp on. The other stuff you can negotiate and compromise. For example, I don't care if you leave the toilet seat up or down. I don't care if you leave your clothes in the bedroom piled up because you know what, motherfucker? I'm not picking them up. And eventually you'll get tired of looking at your stack of clothes and you will pick them up. So there are things that you will compromise and negotiate on And there's things that you just need, like food, air, and water. For me, effective, open, honest communication. That I need. Tell me what you want. I'm not Karnak. If you want to fuck, let me know. How do you want to do it tonight? Let me know. I can also initiate. But if I'm not sucking your dick, right? Let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Dig it.
And for me, it's a partnership. I'm a top guy. Anally, I'm a top. That's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
But with any man, in or out of a relationship that meets, he's a man, and you have to respect that. So when I say I'm a top, meaning in the bedroom, I anally penetrate. But I respect this guy as a man, and I come at him like that, and I'm not going to hurt your manhood, your dignity. So we have all of that, effective communication. You want to have fun. I don't expect to be around you 24/7. I like us to come together and talk about what we've done in our lives and our careers, because that just nurtures everything. And like I said before, in the past, I have gone to bed with people too soon. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that for years. I will talk to them. I will text, of course. I will talk to you on the telephone. I will have dinners and lunches with you, because it's amazing what you can find out about a person sitting right across from them. The eye contact, the body language, that you cannot get texting, and you cannot get on the phone.
Exactly.
You can't get on the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Shit. There you go.
Exactly. Okay, now let me get into your business for a minute, because let's go into relationships, because I heard how you just stressed that sexually I'm a top.
Yeah.
And
anally now, I said only anally.
Understandable. I got it.
I'll suck some dick.
Right. So I hear. So okay, mental note. Okay.
I'll suck some dick. I'll suck some dick. I ain't a problem with that.
But here's the thing, because see, and this could link back, and it loosely link into a whole depression thing, and I believe that the communication factor in this is why it could, because there are those who, I'm one who believe that in a relationship there's no such thing as top or bottom. We are who we are. What we do is what we have agreed upon to do. Okay. Now, in that, because we're both men, honey, that means that I am willing as my partner to make sure that I do all those things that I think another bitch would, if I don't. Okay, within reason. Okay, to keep you happy and to keep you here with me. So in saying all that, how is it that you address those kinds of things personally when you encounter whatever, and keep your lines of communication open? When someone says, okay, this is who I am, and you try to mesh this together so that everybody walks away from the table with a grand understanding, and it doesn't tailspin in someone into insecurity mode.
Okay, this is how I work it. It's different for everybody else, Big Meech, but I believe what I do is, if I'm on a date with we have one date or a couple dates, eventually I'm going to bring up sex.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though sex is not the most important thing in a relationship, it's really a big part of it, of course, particularly because we're men. Men are very physical, sexual beings. So I'm going to tell you, look, I'm a top. I'm a top anally. I don't see that changing. However, I love to suck dick. That's just who I am. I love to suck dick. I'll eat your ass, all that shit. Okay, I'll do that. Now, what do you do? What is non-negotiable for you? If he tells me, no, I'm a top, two tops. If he's a top, that ain't gonna work. If he's versatile, he ain't gonna work. But what I'm saying is, that's when you have to have effective communication. When it's appropriate, you bring up the issue of sex. If you are really vibing with the guy, you can't go home with him and then you have this big surprise.
True
you
that.
Talk about it before you talk about your HIV status. You talk about all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And another thing, too, I really don't understand, and this is just me, why someone would discount someone who's HIV positive. If the person is undetectable and he's taking his meds and he's healthy, I don't see what this is just me. I don't see what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be honest with you, we have to assume that everybody's HIV positive. And to be really honest with you, safe sex means when you're sucking dick, you should have condoms on. That's what really safe sex means. Safe sex means that when you're fucking an ass, you have a condom on. When you're getting your dick sucked, you should have a condom on. That's what safe sex means. But I don't understand about, if the person has just about everything that you're looking for emotionally, inequalities and all of that, why should you discount the person if he's HIV positive and he's healthy and he's on his meds and he's undetectable? But that's just me. So the whole thing of this is effective, open, honest communication, putting your shit bearing your shit, putting it on the table to give the other person the option. If you're single and you want to stay that way and you don't want a relationship, I don't care how much you want the other person, put it on the table. I'm just here to fuck you. I just want a booty call. I don't want a relationship. What do you want? Do you want a fucking threesome? Do you want an orgy? What do you want?
Right.
What do you want? You know what I'm saying? Shit, there's nothing wrong with a threesome, nothing wrong with an orgy, but the other person might not be into it. What do you want? Say, I'm freaky, okay, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, but sometimes, we can fuck, let's say he says, okay, fine, we can be just friends with this. And then you say, well, you know what, I like orgies sometimes. Are you into orgies? I like threesomes. This is what I want. I want a transgender person up in there in the bed with us. This is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense? This is what I want.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Nothing wrong with orgies and threesomes, but we as men, we don't tell people we don't tell each other what we really want.
Because of the taboo of it, baby.
Well,
we have not allowed ourselves to walk in our own truth because we've allowed society to still stigmatize the taboo of it. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But we got to stop that shit. That's why we're depressed. That's why we got dysfunctional relationships. That's why we can't find who we want. That's why we're in and out of relationships. That's why in May we're with Bob, and in June we're with Demetrius, and in July we're with Wyatt. That's why we're so fucked up. We do not do the effective communication. It's not easy, but you got to do it. If you want a motherfucking threesome, say, I want a motherfucking threesome. And I want a foursome. I want two masculine guys, and I want a bitch on the side.
Right.
And high heels and pumps. And high heels and a goddamn whatever. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go. You see, I can talk to you because I'm naked myself. I'm naked looking at naked bodybuilders, so hey, what the fuck?
Okay, that's all right, baby. Do your thing. Because I just have a house coat. I have to have my house robe on.
You shouldn't have
so that I can remain have some sense of professionalism, because otherwise I'll be playing with myself too.
Listen, I'm professional, but I'm just naked. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I'm home. Shit, the door is locked. I'm home. I'm watching Ron Hamilton, the Black Body Girl on TV. I can do this shit and talk to you too.
Okay, you are.
And still get my messages across and sound intelligible.
Oh, have mercy. So now,
baby? Yes.
So now let's go here, because here's something that I want to tap on with the whole IPVA and things and depression, and that there is the different compartmentalizations of the culture, because you have the S&M culture, you have the big boy culture, and carrying on. Right. How is it that we, for those who are caught up in these different things and they want to exercise and experiment with fetishes and what is considered to be alternative sexual contact, how is it that we then learn how to iron out the wrinkles of what is healthy versus what becomes abusive?
I am so glad you asked that question because people, when I do my seminars and workshops, I get that question asked a lot, and people don't understand the difference between intimate partner violence and abuse and S&M. And let me break it down for you. IPVA, you have the abuser and the victim. The abuser and the victim. The victim has no choice. He's being physically, emotionally, mentally abused. It's not of his wanting. He doesn't want this. S&M, sadomasochism, is say that they want a certain amount of pain and humiliation as part of their sexual repertoire. So you have two people who consensually agree to this, and there is a safe word. They talk. This is where open communication comes through too. Mm-hmm. They talk about what exactly they're going to do, the ramifications of it, and then they devise a safe word in case one is going overboard and the other says, you got to stop. So in an S&M type relationship or the leather relationship, there are two people who agree to do this. In intimate partner violence and abuse, IPVA, one person doesn't want this to happen to him. He is the victim. The other person is the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
S&M, you're getting sexual pleasure. You know?
Right, and it's agreed upon. It is agreed upon. Sexual pleasure. You've gone into a contract with this, and just like, well, I know you're a part of it. I'm a part of the S&M world loosely. I haven't dedicated to it. That's what it is, and I don't know why I haven't yet.
I mean, I've done some S&M stuff.
Okay. At the same time, in understanding that, you know, there's just some things that and then with the whole S&M culture, honey, there's many different nuances and variations of it, you know, that if you're not in it, you may not understand. So that's why it is agreed upon, and we've got this contract and carried on. And for those of you who've seen the movie 50 Shades of Grey, when they sat down with that contract, I agree to this, that's real. Okay, that there is very real. Okay, so and I wanted to go there because oftentimes, and I've seen this happen before, where we've seen in the news, they've set up there and they have said, oh, well, we don't know if this is a domestic violence or whatever kind of situation because we do know that they play rough. You know, and oftentimes because someone may be into that particular culture, you know, it gets downplayed because other people, you know, the masses don't want to believe what it is or feel as though, well, no, you consented to this. And then for those who are in it and they don't understand it, you know, and they find themselves in an abusive situation, you know, they become shamed to report it because it may have started off consensual and the person went overboard and did not, you know, use the safe word or whatever or value the safeguard word. You know what I'm saying? So it ends up becoming those kind of situations, and then folks become ashamed to report it. And then we have all these different unreported incidences and carrying on, and then the numbers are off and et cetera, et cetera. So,
Well, let me give your listeners some advice. If there are two guys that start out in an S&M relationship and the other person does not adhere to the safe word, you need to get rid of that person because that is IPVA.
Exactly.
IPVA. There is no excuse for intimate partner violence and abuse. There's no excuse of boys will be boys because if you really love somebody, you don't beat their ass. So if you start in an S&M type relationship and the other person doesn't honor that safe word, you need to kick that person to the curb because it's going to get worse, and it'll be your fault if you let it continue because you have given the other person's license to do this to you. We have more control over our bodies and minds than we want to believe and deal with. It's up to you to kick this ass to the curb and say, I'm not doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how about that? Now, listen, we got a caller.
Oh, good.
Oh, bumpy, baby. We got a caller, 248-915. 248-915. Come on, I know who this is. Come on up in here and dish your tea with us, darling. Hey, sugar. 915.
Can't hear him.
Oh, just dropped the call. How about it? Okay,
oh, no.
Call back in.
Still call back.
Call back in, child. Call back in.
That's right.
Well, we got a
back
little
in.
minute.
Okay. Call me in.
Okay, so now, in understanding all of that, baby, yeah. Now, how difficult is it for you when you are, having the seminars and doing radio interviews and carrying on? How difficult is it for you to sit back and when you hear bullshit? I know it's difficult for me because, we have to let folks be wherever they are. But when folks are not willing to receive the information and they just want to be in a mind fuck or in a cloud, as I like to call it, how difficult is that for you to let it ride and not take it personally?
Well, I don't because, sometimes I used to do stand-up comedy back in the day. And, I was heckled and all that stuff. So you know what? I don't really let it bother me. I let it roll off my back, because you just have people who want to tear you down. They're jealous. They're not doing what you're doing. They don't have the guts to do what you're doing, okay? They're happy little people. They don't have the guts to do what you're doing, so they want to try to embarrass you and tear you down. If it gets really too bad, I'll just cut your ass off. I'll just say something, I'll just flip on you.
Right.
I'll flip on your ass.
How about?
Because, there's a fine line between heckling and really the hardcore insult. I will flip on your ass.
Okay, right.
Yeah, that's right. And laugh when I'm going home.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I say all right.
There you go.
I say all right. Well, then let's do this.
Okay,
because now you're sitting up there naked. I'm sitting here naked with my house coat on.
Baby. Pull it off, baby. Take off that damn. You got air conditioning. Take that shit off, baby. Take it off. Peel it off, baby. Bump that shit. Peel it off.
Okay. See, you silly.
Peel it off.
Okay, you are so silly. Anyway,
I know.
Going into this and enjoying your singlehood as I am, because I get that question all the time. Why are you single? And I ask that question for most folks because I want to see how they're going to answer it.
Okay.
In understanding that and coming into all of this, and dealing with our culture, how is it that you celebrate your singlehood without it, trying to celebrate you or get the best of you?
Well, you know what? Like I said earlier, I am happy being by myself. I think that when you're happy being by yourself, you would like to have someone as your partner, but you realize that it might not happen. If you're happy being yourself, if you're secure in being by yourself, you're happy being by yourself, that is more than half the battle. And like I said before, there are a few fundamental things that I need, like food, air, and water, for me to be really into you and say to myself, this has the potential of being a relationship. If I can't get those fundamentals, I can't deal with you.
Right.
If you can't openly and honestly and effectively communicate with me, I can't deal with you. If you want me to be with you 24/7, I can't be with you. If you don't have any of your own interests, I can't be with you. If you're not working on your career, I can't be with you. If you're not a decent person who has empathy for other people, I can't deal with you. If you don't have masculine sensitivity, I can't be with you. If you can't nurture me, if you always want me to nurture you and hold you, I can't be with you because I need nurturing and being held too. If you can't ask me how my day is, I can't be with you. If you want to spend all this money, I can't be with you. If you're superfluous, I can't be with you. If you're a diva, I can't be with you. If you're so materialistic that you discount the great inner qualities of somebody, I can't be with you. There you go. And
How about
many
that?
of us, Big Reach, as you well know, too many of us gay SGO men are that way. We will stay in abusive relationships because the guy has a house, the guy has a car, the guy's buying and shit. We will stay in these abusive relationships because of the materialistic stuff. I don't get that.
Right. Well,
Don't get it.
it becomes status. Again, see, that goes into that depression thing because it's status. It's status
Right.
and wanting to make sure that I keep I keep folks thinking that I'm fabulous and I'm this and I'm that because it becomes identity. Oftentimes, folks lose their identity in all of this shit, which is why when they become of a certain age, that all they have is the days of old. They reminisce about, well, back in the day, we used to be fabulous, we used to do, and they have not outgrown certain shit. That's why I used to talk about the children at the club back in the day. When I was in my 20s, this is in the 80s, child. And I was 16, 1986, when I first started finding out what the clubs were, and the famous Knock Knock, as we call it, the famous door down in Detroit, bless it. Okay. When it was up and popping, I never knew what it was. I just knew I had a draw to it. Every time I walked by, it was something that drew me into it. When I finally got there a year and a half later, inside of it, I used to see folks in their 40s and 50s, child, draped in gold, all the gold chains, sitting at the bar, the long pinky nail, hair was processed, looking like the pimps from the 70s and carried on, because that was their era. And I'm like, what the hell is your old ass doing up in here?
Let me say this.
And now I done became the old ass. Because now here I am in my 40s, but at the same time, I'm not there every day or every weekend or whatever, number one. Number two, going out is as I said earlier, the culture itself does not dictate to us, or it does not facilitate the older gentleman. We don't have specialty clubs for us or whatever. There's nothing there for us because the culture itself stays young. So now, when we sit down there and go through all these particular changes, we end up, succumbing to the bullshit of it, which ends up feeding into the depression.
Well, let me say this. Okay. 2015 is not 2005. In 2007, the bottom dropped out of the economy, okay?
Right.
Black folks are still recovering. White people have 13 times more the wealth than black people do. We're in a slight recovery, but the white folks are recovering more than black people. We don't have what we used to have. And this thing about the status, we've got to stop this shit because, look, you can't go out to restaurants every fucking night or every weekend, and that's too many of the kids, too many of the black SGO gay men want to always be going to the club. They got to be going to the movies all the time. They got to be going out, spending all this money that they don't have. They're not saving any money. And, this is me. If I'm dating a garbage man who has the inner qualities that I'm looking for, who treats me well with respect, with open and honest communication, and we have fun together, and he's not always talking about sports, and he knows what's going on in the world, and he can support himself, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. Cool with that. But too many of us black, gay, SGL men are status, the bling, bling, bling. Those days are not what they are today. You don't have the money that you used to have 10 years ago. You don't. You just don't have it. And like I said, if I'm dating someone and I find out they're all materialistic, oh hell, I'm running. And I am not treating your ass every time we go out. I'm not. No.
Right.
No, baby. And that's the problem.
Right.
That's why we can't find anybody. That's why we can't find anybody, because just like you said before, we're so busy with the status. The status. He's got to be a lawyer. He's got to have a BMW. He's got to have a nice house on the hill. This is not 1990. This is not 1995. This ain't 2000. This ain't 2005.
Right.
People have lost their jobs. People are trying to recover.
Child, not just lost their jobs, they lost the BMW, and they lost the house on the hill.
Exactly.
They lost it,
Exactly.
and shit. Now, not only are they recovering, honey, but shit, for those, I have a seminar that we're putting together about, I call it growing old gaithfully. And one of the things that we don't talk about is the recovery aspect, honey. You've had all of this, and you was in your 20s, you own houses and carrying on, but then you had to downsize, something that happened, and you had to move back home with mama.
Do you know how many the Washington Post did an article on this months ago. Do you know how many black people have lost houses?
Right.
The loss of home ownership has hit the black community so much harder than even the Latino community. The Latino community is even doing better. But we have lost wealth. When you talk about white people having at least 13 times more wealth, there is a problem. And so, therefore, you can't be spending all this money that you have or you do not have.
Right.
You just can't do it. Can't do it.
Ooh.
Yeah, baby. We made it hot today, didn't we? We got this shit hot today, didn't we?
Yes, we did. That's because both of us sitting up here naked and carrying on. See, this is just our chemistry, baby.
Listen, I am playing with the skull necklace around my neck. I'm really playing with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because you want it to be something else. But I'll go there.
Yeah, I know.
You want it to be something else around your neck.
Yeah, I'm just playing with the skull. Shit. Shit. Bump that shit.
You are silly. But here, tell everybody your websites and where to find you, and when your new season is starting again.
Thank you. First of all, my website is WyattEvans.com. WyattEvans.com, where you'll find information on my latest novel, Nothing Can Tear Us Apart, Rage, full of intrigue, sex, and all that good stuff. You'll find out about the sequel called Frenzy, which drops in early 2016, and my new season of the Wyatt O'Brian Evans Show on PapiChuloRadio.com. The progressive PapiChuloRadio.com starts this Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and if you're in California, I got a lot of fans out there, 6 p.m., so you better make sure that you're looking at that shit, listening to that shit while you're eating your dinner. That's what you got to do. Because I'm going to have a hot porn star on there. We're going to talk about fucking and all the porn stars he fucked. Mr. Draven Torres, who is a hot Latino porn star.
Yes, Lord.
And people and he's been fucking. I said, oh, my Jesus Christ.
Okay, hey, how you doing? Okay. How you want? No. How you want to do it? That's what it is.
How I want to do it. I want to do that shit. Look, how you want to do that shit? You want it like up in the air? You want the legs spread open? How you want to do it?
Baby, face down, ass up, and insert tongue, honey.
Right.
That's where I
twist me around like I goddamn took the roll.
You so
damn it, open up my hole first with your tongue on your dildo and then slide up in there.
See there. Okay.
Yeah, slide up in there with them 10 inches. You know what I'm saying?
See there. And call it Grace. Okay. And call it Grace. Okay, right. See. Well, darling, let you get back to your world, honey. Thanks for coming on and dishing your tea with me. And, hey, this has just been absolutely everything, because now I got to do my Batgirl change, and then we got to go down here to the television studio and record that. So whenever, and I'm hoping that whenever you get here to Atlanta, that we'll be able to get you down here on Atlanta's Up and Rising as well to talk about the book and other things. You know, so I'm going to extend that invitation. Are you coming?
Thank you. I'm trying really hard.
Uh-huh.
Really hard. I'm trying to come down there really hard. I'm trying to come really hard down there for your Black Pride.
Oh, good evening, Louise. Thank you.
Listen, thank you so much for having me on your show.
All right, baby. We will do this again and again and again and again and one more again. I'm greedy, so yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm greedy, baby. I'm greedy.
I know you are. Okay.
Whatever. Anywho, you ain't ready, boy. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. I keep telling you ain't ready. You ain't ready. In any news, in any effect, honey, you go get your day together, and I'll talk with you shortly.
Thank you very much.
All right, baby.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Darlings, we have just finished with the one and only Mr. Wyatt O'Brian Evans. I love that name, O'Brian, honey. I was sitting up there just thinking, honey, I need to name a child that. But in any event, my darlings, honey, we have just concluded this thing here about IPVA, intimate partner violence and abuse. I love that. I really love that. Okay, but for more information, please, again, go to his website, WyattEvans.com. And you can find out all of what it is he's about. And you can also find links and carrying on to some of his articles he's written for the Huffington Post and other publications and things of that nature, okay? So without any further ado, my darlings, I'm going to bid you a farewell right now so you may finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished and you've been dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech. If you love me, tell a friend, baby. If you hate me, tell an enemy, but do know this, one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, this thing here that I'm doing will move forward. Join us next week, honey, when we will be talking with Mr. Vincent E. White, honey. He is an author of the book Finding My Father, and we're going to do this as a special Father's Day tribute and get into his story of what it means when a young man discovers that the man who he thought was his father all this time was not, and he went on the quest to find his biological dad. And so it's going to be a very candid interview next week. So join us then, and we will get this thing started. So, honey, I thank you for your love, your support, and all of the things, honey, that you do to keep me afloat, because without you, there is no me. Okay, that's how the circle of life is, honey. We're all in this thing together. Okay? So having said all that, babies, we will talk again real soon and get your day started. It's a wonderful, glorious Wednesday, babies. Go out, partake, and enjoy. Until the next time, ciao.
O'Reilly. When it comes to safety, nothing is more important than your vehicle's brakes. If it's hard to stop or you hear squealing or grinding noises during braking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You'll find the brake parts you need from trusted brands like Brake Best and Brake Best Select at everyday low prices. Play it safe with brakes from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.